This one way, I'm going to lean a bit more toward you because based on my messages today, you were all over this story. AEW launching a fast channel with My AEW. Why don't you tell us a little bit about My AEW and what this is?
Yeah, so I guess the FAST is free ad-supported, what was the T stand for?
Free ad-supported television.
Television?
Free ad-supported television channel.
Whatever. It stands for something. But yeah, that is like one of the components of all of this. You know, they're essentially kind of bringing like this is their version of whatever you want to call it, 24/7 WWE Network, but they are providing this for several people depending on where you live. Now, this is a little bit confusing because depending on where you live, it's sort of all over the place what you can get.
It could be like this all-in, on-demand, live streaming / pay-per-view provider. It also could be as limited as just being like here in Canada. All we can do is order the pay-per-views on this, I believe.
It's all dependent on what deals they already have with people in those countries. Well, let's focus at least on the U.S. People in the U.S. can get the FAST channel, which is like essentially a 24/7 streaming sort of loop of AEW programming. When I was checking in earlier this morning, it was largely like season 1 of AEW, just sort of on a loop. And this would be ad supported, I believe eventually. Like when I was kind of dipping in through like a US VPN, I didn't really see any ads. I just saw a little countdown clock, but I imagine this will be populated with that soon enough. But I think the bigger story is for people internationally, meaning outside of the US and outside of Canada, this is now going to be essentially sort of like what feels like their I don't want to say replacement just yet, but it's feeling a lot like their replacement for AEW Plus that, you know, is currently on Triller, where you can get, for different fees. We should probably bring that up here.
They're going to turn this into A++. That's what this is going to become.
So let's just, this is what's available for people who are who have access to basically the full thing. Monthly, you could pay $8 a month, which gets you access to the Watch AEW Fast channel. It says AEW podcast, live editions of Dynamite and Collision, which I'm assuming will be streaming on the 24/7 channel. Also Honor Club TV, which will also stream on that 24/7 channel. And then you also have Ring of Honor pay-per-views, which you can also watch live, depending on if they take place that particular month. You also have access to AEW's TV archive, which already seemed to be populated with Dynamite and Collision dating back to January of 2025. I imagine more to be added probably as we speak. So that's for $8 a month. $20 a month gets you basically access to all of that, plus their monthly pay-per-view. So this tells you at least, like, do we know their pay-per-view schedule ahead from this point? Like,
we only know through All Out or All In August.
But this basically tells you, like, at least they now have incentive to deliver one pay-per-view per month, you know, which they have kind of been doing anyway, except for the past 2 months.
They have that gap in January and February, but they do beyond those 2 months monthly. Yeah.
So you get all of that. Plus you also get select pay-per-view archives. But for $120 American dollars, you can get the annual tier, which gets you everything, basically all 2026 AEW pay-per-views, as well as everything that we previously stated. So those seem to be the offerings, and they represent great value for people who have access to all of this, which many of us can.
No, I think
no matter where we live.
You know, obviously this is very much an international play. I would think that this is going to address a lot of geographical regions that, you know, we don't know what the future of Triller is going to be, or I think they just want to have this one hub. I think it does make it attractive, the fact that you are making not just your archive available, but to me, Honor Club should be it should be a bundled package. Like, I think that there's going to be a lot fewer people that are going to be buying that as a standalone service versus you work it into a larger AEW package.
Now, there is the caveat. I don't believe this, at least from what we can see, I don't think it includes all. Certainly it doesn't include Ring of Honor archives. So there's still value for somebody subscribing to Honor Club for the entire Ring of, well, as whatever Ring of Honor archive.
It's just the ROH pay-per-views that are with us.
That are live. We don't even know if
okay.
the new pay-per-views are going to be in archive. It could just be streaming on the Fast channel that you'll have access to. It can be very confusing, which we'll see it all like play out firmly in practice. But as far as we know, it's just that right now.
I would direct everyone to Jack Wannen's story, which is accompanied by one of Brandon Thurston's legendary tables, which will emphasizes like how different this is for depending on where you live. So it's a good breakdown here of what you get given where you live in the world. As you can see, US and Canada, this is really limited to kind of the most basic function of this fast channel. And here in Canada, we don't even get the fast channel itself, but we can technically order a pay-per-view there each month, which for now you can still order this on, various platforms.
Yeah. And there are ways, even if you live in Canada, you could maybe sample this.
The Post Wrestling Cafe is your one-stop shop for all of the coverage that Post Wrestling has to offer. 2 big rewind-aways this month with WWF Insurrection from May of 2002. This UK-only pay-per-view featured the Raw brand going overseas and ending with the infamous plane ride from hell. Then we're going to take a look at AWA's Super Sunday from April of 1983. A new edition of Talk Can Be Yours, plus MCU Later, Book Club, and coverage of UFC 326, TNA Sacrifice, and of course, XL editions of Rewind to Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown with all the news of the day. Join now at postwrestlingcafe.com.